Oh, not yet.
Oh, I didn't turn my phone off.
All right. Well, we're rolling. So,
Okay.
how you doing, Malik?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Doing well. It's a little chilly, which is fine.
I love how you roll up in a leather jacket. Not many people wear leather jackets anymore.
I've been told that. So as much as I pay attention, I don't think I pay attention to what other people do in my minutia.
Mm.
But for me, oh, I have a long answer for this. You want this?
I
This
do.
is how we start?
Yeah, this is how we're starting.
A leather jacket. So, for me, it's just a sense of like counterculture because it's a motorcycle jacket, right?
Yeah.
But I also have a suit jacket as well. So it's cut like a suit jacket, but it's leather. And I like to wear that when I'm supposed to dress up. Because I'm like, oh, I'm dressed up, but I'm still me. Right?
Right.
And so for me, man, this answer could be the whole show. For me, it's just something slightly different, but it's just my own. I don't call it a style. It's just my own way, right?
Mm.
And I do have a motorcycle. Now, I haven't ridden that much because I got a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old in the house.
Oh.
They need attention.
Yeah.
You got children, right?
Yeah,
I saw some toy stuff.
I have 2.
So like all this stuff in here, I was like, how does he have all this stuff and children? Like, where is his children? Not being his business, but like, is his children just not here?
Well, they're in school today.
Yeah, but still, like, even when my children come home, they're like, daddy, daddy, daddy. And I'm like, I brought something home for me to play with. And I wasn't expecting you to need my full attention the whole evening. And don't get me wrong, happy to give it to him, right?
Yeah,
Childhood only lasts for so long. And then once it isn't a childhood anymore, it's a whole other thing. And life is difficult. Life is hard. And I didn't know that growing up. I thought life was like, oh, cool, right?
Mm.
And so for me, spending time with the kids is very important, but not to the point. The point is I found my own way in still being slightly left of center and still being acceptable. So like somebody will see this jacket, and if you ride, then they go, oh, you ride? And I go, yeah. And then that's it. Cause I'm like, it's not what I lead with. Me riding is for personal.
Mm.
It's therapy. It's it keeps me out of jail.
Riding a motorcycle
keeps me out of jail.
That's a lot. That's one thing that a lot of people, when they do ride, they kind of like that's their identity, right? Like if you're a biker, that's who you are as a person through and through.
Mm-hmm. And that's cool. That's you. Do you, boo? But that's not me. It's something that I do for me. It's selfish.
Well, that's fair, right?
It's so selfish. Now, can I share that with my wife? Yes. Can I share that with other people? Yes. But there was a moment in time that my riding a motorcycle nightly from spring to, oh my gosh, I can't believe how cold it is outside. Because you got to think wind chill. If it's 50 degrees,
yeah, that's cool.
And you're going 70 miles an hour on the highway, what? But I did it because it was my therapy. Just being out there. And I have a bestie, and he rode with me. He's skinnier than I am. I don't know how he did it. Like I'm petite. He's petite eat. Like, and I don't know how we did it. And we'd end up somewhere and be like, but that was my freedom. So it's not my identity. It's not how I define myself. It's a part of me. And I don't believe people are what they do.
I agree.
So many times. Depends. But you work at
General Motors.
You tell people you work at, I don't want to blow up your spot. Do you tell people you work at General Motors?
I do. Yeah.
All right. Are you on the line?
Yes.
So, but I'm never going to look at you and go, oh, that's a factory worker. Not knocking a factory worker, but you're not a factory worker. You're a person working at a factory.
Right.
You found your space where I hope you are comfortable to do what you need to do to take care of you and then whatever dynamic you need to deal with and the immediacy. Right. So many people, so you do this.
That's a good point, because there's a lot of people that I work with that you would think about them like, oh, that's a factory worker, but they have degrees. They graduate from MSU, but they know that if they were to go do a job in the field that they went to school for, that they wouldn't make as much money as they do at working at General Motors on the assembly line. They only do that because, I mean, they make more money doing it. So so to think about people in that kind of way is kind of arrogant and ignorant.
It's a shortcut. In the United States of America, we do a lot of shortcuts. Oh, you're at a factory, you're a factory worker. Box.
Right.
Oh, you're male, so male gender, you're going to have a wife and kids. Box. Box, 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 box. Put you in a box. And I'm like, bro, no, what? You don't know anything about me. And I've had people come up to me and like, oh, Melik, you do such, 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 such. Like, oh, that's just, wow.
They profiled you.
That's just so small of the things that I do. Now, granted, I don't talk about writing because it's not my identity, right? You'll see a picture on the social media, if I, at some point in time, my kids are going to allow me to write, and I'm not going to be so sleepy. Like my wife, I love my wife, Jessie. She's queen of a corner house, I call her. And she's like, hey, can I buy your motorcycle battery? What do you need to get your motorcycle on the road? I need a battery. I blew mine up. I was stupid. I didn't take it off the thing over winter and it died. I'm dumb. I threw away $100, so I'm mad at myself. I'll buy you a motor. I said, well, it needs to be registered, this, that, and the other. And I'm not going to ride sleepy, right? You can ride, don't, but if you ride sleepy in a car, you've got full wheels. So when you fall off, you're not falling down.
Right.
You hit the rumble strips, you wake back up, and hopefully no one else got hurt, right?
Right.
You do that. Yeah. Try that on a motorcycle once. Right? So it could be 4 o'clock in the morning. I could be sleepy.
Right.
I have the privilege of having an office space that I work for myself, and there are times where I'm like, not okay. And finally I'm just lean my chair back and I'll be like, all right, I guess I'm asleep for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I can do that. You can't do that on a motorcycle.
No, you can't.
So wearing this jacket is just me. I got fired from a insurance job. They headhunted me for a year. Hey, Melik, come work for us. We'll show you the ropes. We'll teach you. We'll train you for a year. I was like, well, one-on-one training in a 3-person, 4-person office? Whoa, that's what's up. And then residual income, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. You build up your nest, this, that, and the other. You can make bank insurance. Everybody needs it, so it doesn't go away.
No.
It's a thing. Cool. I passed my test first time. It's a 50-50 pass-fail. 50% of people fail the test the first time. So I took this insurance class. Awesome instructor. He taught the test. He didn't teach you extra stuff. He taught the test. So if you learn the test that he taught, you pass the test. And I passed the test. I'm proud of myself. I get in. 3 months later, I wasn't producing. This is what my guess is. I wasn't producing enough and they fired me. I go, you also didn't train me. Because whenever I asked for help or questions, y'all were too busy.
Right.
You failed me, and then you're going to fire me and then act like you're doing me a favor so I can collect unemployment?
Wow.
All the curse words. All of them. The worst curse words. Because I'm like, you sought me out.
Yeah.
Was I in a bad spot in a place, blah, 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 blah. But I could have gone back to restaurant, this, that, and the other. Now I'm losing money.
Yeah.
Almost losing my house.
Right.
Because of your thing. And you failed me, but then blame me. I don't like you. And so a year after that, when I found myself not up, but up-ish. I sent him a thank you note. I was so happy about that thank you note. Literally just said their name, thank you, and then my name on a piece of paper. Just that was all the words on the piece of paper. Sent it. Dude, I didn't mean thank you. Another 4-letter word in you, right? All right, so that was a rambling Melik answer with my leather jacket.
I love it. That's a good answer. You're just you. You don't identify with like a persona. You're just authentically you.
And it's new.
It's new. You haven't always been this way.
Unfortunately, it's so new. So look at me, gray in the beard. And I spent most of my life trying to find the box. Mama always said, if you had a house and a car, you're going to find a wife. Get a good job with weekends off and insurance. And no disrespect, but she's like, you can be a janitor at a school. You have weekends off, summer vacation. Do that.
Right.
Right. And I'm like, not believe me, I've cleaned some stuff. So don't get I've cleaned houses. I've done things. If I say something, I don't want somebody to think, oh, Malik's too good for it. Oh no. When I say I've cleaned some stuff, I work for a self-proclaimed slumlord in East Lansing and changeover. And East Lansing is one of the dirtiest, nastiest jobs you can ever do. Ugh. I don't understand how people live. I have brought fleas. I brought fleas home to my own house. Oh my god! So many different times. I still have scars on my leg from all the flea bites. Wow. They burrow into your socks and then bite you all day. Dang. Imagine that. It's like Chinese torture. Yeah. The 1,000 needles, right? Right. And I got scars wrapped around my ankles from fleas from cleaning other people's houses. That's a dirty job. Yeah. So if you see me out and I'm walking a little high and my shoulders back, I earned that. My nose ain't in the air for being cocky. My nose in the air is I survived all this.
Made you a stronger person.
Right. And I'm black in the United States of America and I got gray in my beard. I've done some stuff. Jesus died when he was 33.
Hey, gray makes you look distinguished.
Distinguished or just old and beaten down. I don't know.
Somebody has gray in their beard. I'm like, that person has some wisdom. They've overcome a lot. They've lived a life.
Hopefully there's some wisdom.
I'm starting to get some gray.
Well, yeah, but there's a lot of dumbass old people in the world.
That is true. But
short-sighted and
there's a lot of dumb people in the world, period. And I think it's because they check those boxes, right? Yeah. They look at themselves as this or that, and they don't look at things from an objective perspective. And that's a huge issue.
We're not taught that, though.
We're not.
We're not taught that. So when I say this is new for me to find my identity, my full self, and I'm not 100, right? I'm not, but I tell people, I go, look, this is me. If you don't like it, cool. I ain't changing.
Right.
I'm changing, but I'm evolving, I think. Yeah. But if you don't like me for whatever personality conflict that you have with me, I'm okay with that. Because once I realized I don't like certain other people, I was like, well, why would I be needing people? I don't need everybody like me. Right. Now I'm a person that I want everybody like me. Yeah. Like that's my innermost, deepest, like, oh my gosh, why can't we all just get along? Why can't we just do the thing? Right. That's my hope. That's my dream. That's my one thing that I will allow myself. Like, I wish the whole world can hold hands, and I like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. Love for that to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And I know that. Yeah. Right. So I've accepted it mostly. So as soon as I feel like I don't like people, and there's 350 million people in the United States America alone. I'm not going to like everybody.
That's one thing that I've learned fortunately for me at a very young age. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I moved out when I was 17 and was forced to be on my own and kind of develop.
Why'd you move out?
Abuse in the home.
In the home.
Yeah.
By your parents.
By my adopted parents. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I was adopted.
bro,
Yeah.
I think about that all the time.
Yeah, it was a terrible situation. I was getting locked out of the house till 11 o'clock every night. I was in high school. And
So you weren't allowed to come back into the house until 11.
till 11 o'clock every night. Yeah. My dad was on second shift at GM, and my adopted mom didn't want me in the house alone with her because she just didn't want to she didn't want to deal with me. And so when he came home from second shift is when I could come home. So I would hang out at my girlfriend's house until 11 o'clock every single night, come home. And it was beyond stressful. And I started developing bald spots in the back of my head from stress. And my doctor said that my hair would never grow back. That it was alopecia.
Yeah.
And so eventually a friend of mine was like, dude, you can't be living that way. He's like, come live with me. And so I went and started living with him, and immediately my hair grew back. Immediately.
Stress will put you in the grave.
It will. It slowly kills you. Slowly.
You're dying
slowly.
anyway. It's just going to happen faster and more painful.
Yeah.
That's what I fear. That's what I think about cigarette smoke.
Yeah.
Cigarette smoking means that, yes, you will probably still live, but your death is going to suck.
You're slowly killing yourself.
Yeah. You're just adding to all the stuff that's happening to you anyway.
Yeah.
And so
that's a good point.
This is from an ex-smoker. So, once again, disclaimer. You smoke, I'm empathetic to you. Your plight.
Right.
Quit it.
Yeah.
Because the cigarette companies doesn't care about you.
No, they don't. But that was like something for me at a very young age. I realized that not everybody's going to like you. I was forced into a position where I had to be on my own and develop who I am as a person.
But at 17, your brain isn't even fully functioning.
No, but by 21, I knew who I was, and I knew.
Oh, see.
What I'm saying is, I'm comparing myself to like people that were my age.
Yeah.
Most people who are, in their late teens, early 20s, they're just trying to be popular. They just want to go out, hang out with people, get drunk. They want to be that popular person. I never was that, and I knew that, so I just developed my own path.
Did that include? So how deep did that go? Music, entertainment, people you sought out, jobs that you sought out. Like how big was that umbrella?
For what?
For you developing your own path at the age of 17.
It was rough. It was scary, honestly. I mean, I didn't know what my life was going to be like. The only thing I had been told my whole life is that you needed us in order to go to college. If you want to go to college, have a better life, you need us to help you get there. And I knew that. I knew that I wouldn't be successful if I didn't have some sort of like parental guidance. And moving out, I knew I would give up all of that. But I knew I needed freedom to the point where like I could live and not feel like I'm dying.
But that's emotional hijacking.
It really is. So I'm telling you, man, it was
you don't need that.
It was a terrible situation.
Especially when you can't come home. You don't, your home is not, your house is not your home.
No. So from there, what it looked like for me was friends helping me, and me working and going to school and just trying to live life at that point, just trying to get by.
So survive.
Yeah.
And
then
a whole different thing.
I mean, that was what my life became.
Yeah.
At that point. So, so then after that, I started dating some girls, and one of my ex-girlfriend, her mom was a tremendous help to me, and helped me. She got me a job, and a decent job, and then she helped pay some of my bills to get me on my feet a little bit. And then eventually I started working at General Motors, and this was 11 years ago that I hired in. But from that point on, my life has been a lot more successful. I made a lot more money. I have a good job. I have good benefits. And it's just been a slow ride to the top.
Those butterfly moments. I have a friend that doesn't believe in fate and destiny. It's just all coincidences.
Mm.
It is, but those coincidences are butterfly moments that can ping pong you into so many different ways.
I think it's based on like what you put in too, right? Like
a lot of.
Yeah, like I mean, it's kind of like karma or like fate, but like you also get what you put in.
Right. So you've seen the meme, right? Where it's got a teapot and it's spilled and it says somebody bumped into you. What happened? And you're like, I spilled tea. And they're like, no, you didn't. You spilled what you filled in the cup, because if it would have been filled with coffee, coffee would have spilled. So fill your cup with
Mhm.
what you want to spill out into the world.
Right.
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 So like the meme is kind of dumb.
It's a good point, though.
But the meaning behind the meme is huge.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm an emotional response person. It's terrible. My initial emotional response, especially to negativity or things that I don't like, or I don't like something that happened, I I'm I'm off the deep end. I thank my wife for her patience.
Like anger or
Just it could sad anger. It sounds like anger.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm hurt. I'm crying.
Right.
Like, yeah, but you're loud and it sounds like you're yelling.
I don't know what this is.
Yeah, but I'm hurt. I'm crying. And you're like, but it sounds angry. So, what was my point of that? Is that that's my initial response. But once I get past the emotional, just volcanic eruption, I'm like, all right. And what I've gotten better with now is like, all right, that's done. If it's something that, talk about ghosting someone, you mess with me, I used to give you 2 or 3 times. Now I'm like,
not worth it.
And you're like, well, what happened? Because now with the age of the social media, I can't stand it, but it's a great tool to watch how people project themselves into the world.
Yeah.
And then all it does is takes a little background check and go, hey, I saw you had a little thing going on with such and such. I don't mean to be all up in your business.
But you put it out there.
But I see this thing you putting out on the social media, blah, blah. I was kind of wondering what the backstory is on that. What's going on? And the next thing you know, you get this whole big old book of like stuff that was actually like, you only saw the top of the glacier.
Right.
And you're like, and even that one and this is how I take it. Even if that one version, that person's version of the equation was half true, it's a lot of garbage that I don't want to get into, right? Because the double check is seeing how that person, so like the facts start lining up.
Right.
Well, when such and such happened, this is what actually happened behind that, and this is what they did to me, blase Skippy, right? So then, if that's not enough, you can take whatever the characters variables that were in that and go to that. I said, man, I just saw this, that, and the other. Can you tell me what happened? Because I'll tell people, I'm like, look, this person's trying to get me involved with such and such, blah, 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 blah. I just don't know. Right.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I did it to you. You asked me about a podcast. I go, yeah, he's been putting out good shit for the last whatever I knew him. I don't really know him, but I see he putting out good shit. I can do that. Right.
Yeah.
But if I saw you putting out crazy stuff, I'm like, man, I don't even know, man. I don't know if I can do that, man. Right. Man, I'm all right.
Right.
And it's the polite blow off. Right.
Yeah.
You know what? But I was like, oh, I'm gonna be on his stuff. I said, man, I seen him out. I know I seen him.
Yeah.
It always feels good.
Yeah.
And so my worst manager, not even the people that fired me from insurance, my worst boss, it was a guy in radio. I'll call him Scott because that's what his name is. It was my worst boss I ever had in my life. Worse. Evil. I learned the most from that person. And the thing he taught me was always trust. Well, the thing he reinforced in me was always trust your gut. Another cliche, right? But things are happy and honky-dory for about a year. Next thing I know, I'm in this 1-to-1 that we have to have weekly on Wednesday afternoons about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I didn't like these end of the day things because I wasn't doing well. It just got to be painful, right? I was like, oh man, I got to get this report ready and this stuff. I ain't even got time to do my job, let alone my job about a report about my job that I don't have time to do. Right. I can't figure this out. And he used to do these horrible white guys. So he used to do these horrible Afrocentric bonding reporting. He started talking to me about J. Cole because somehow he knew J. Cole was related to him in some way or something by marriage or something like that.
I knew some of those related to J. Cole too.
So, but he would try to always talk to me about J. Cole, and I'd be like, who? And every time he brought it up, I'd just be like, why you keep bringing up J. Cole? I don't know J. Cole or his music.
Right.
And I don't have time to discover J. Cole and his music because this job is bringing me down. Right. So one day in a meeting, he started asking me questions and he was doing this. The whole meeting. And I'm back there and I'm excited because I had done some positive things in that week. I had done some, I mean, it wasn't what he wanted, but I had done some positive things. And he never looked at me. Well, not never, but he didn't look at me and he just stayed in his phone. And I'm like, what's going on? So something happened in my gut, but I didn't act on it and analyze it enough. But that was the moment that years later, when something happens and my gut goes off, I'm like, Scott, I'll trust your gut. Deuces, you out. Right. And people like, well, Malik, I thought you and so-and-so were working. I said, no, man. Well, what happened? Man, it just didn't work out. And I don't need to gossip.
Right.
I don't need to gossip.
Yeah.
Look, if you and so-and-so get along, cool. You and so-and-so get along.
Yep.
But I didn't.
Yep.
I have my reasons.
You brought up a good point about how negative, and because, I bring up my whole past and a lot of people will look at that and be like, man, like, how are you like this? Or how are you like, I mean, I have a relationship with my adopted parents now. Like people wonder, like, how does that happen? But the thing is like, you need to look at things that happen to you, even if it's a negative experience, as a positive experience. What lesson can you take from that situation? Like you had just mentioned, the things that you learned from that situation and apply it to the future of your life. I mean, if you can change the way you look at a negative situation like that, it'll change drastically the way you look at life and different things that happen to you.
The word that I had to learn that I did not know until later in life was paradigm. And Scott gave me a paradigm shift. Now, I can't stand that dude. Can't.
Yeah.
And that's why I talk about it now. I don't care if he hears this. I don't like you. You did me dirty. You had dirty stuff doing. It sucked. It's just sucked, right? I say that to your face. You come up and say hi to me. I'm like, bro. Best teacher I ever had. Thank you. I'll send him a thank you note. Best teacher I ever had. Best teacher I ever had under some of the worst circumstances I was ever going through.
Yeah.
And I ain't putting on tape what I had to do to go to sleep. But like I was on prescription stuff and self-medicating.
Wow.
To try to get 4 hours of sleep.
Wow.
And couldn't get that. And it was not restful. You can't mix medicines and sleep well.
Right. No, that's not a good idea.
Children. Works in the short term, kill you. And so, but it was all I had to do to survive. It hurts my heart, but it happened. I lost these times. There was like 3 years of my life that it was a different survival for me. My house was in and out of foreclosure. I got 2 and 3 jobs and I'm eating ramen noodle packets and splitting meals, splitting a ramen noodle meal in half.
Wow.
So I can have dinner and lunch the next day.
Wow.
And I'm walking around in a suit.
Oof.
With a tie.
Right.
Right. Trying to figure out how to pay the car note on this nice looking car.
Pursuit of happiness.
Right. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Right. So people, hey, Malik, how you doing? Oh, good. Yeah. Because I also learned, I was at a networking thing and somebody's like, how you doing? And I was in a bad thing that morning. I was bad. It was a beautiful sunrise that morning because I remember taking my phone and taking a picture of it. And this person asked me how I was doing. And I kind of went into it because I thought we had this connection. Next thing I know, I was in mid-sentence or mid-thought. He turned around and ran to his car.
Whoa.
And the guy had a limp. I said, a limping guy is running to his car? Not like full out.
Right.
But he was
right.
fast moving towards, and
He's trying to
just
get away.
turned his back on me.
Wow.
And I went, oh wow, nobody gives a fuck. I'm just here on my own, and I think I'm gonna die. And I was in what's the name of it? It was a restaurant. It used to be a restaurant off of on Okemos Road, off of 96, Golden Rose. It's Golden Rose decades ago, and there was a Golden Rose banquet center, and then somebody's banquet center. It was just up, and I'll never forget that, man. I drive by that, I cry.
Wow.
I want to cry because I was just like, that was a pivotal moment. So I was like, how am I going to get to the positive when I'm so far deep?
Right.
How am I going to get to the positive when nobody's, I'm just out here. My mama died. My daddy said, well, what do you expect me to do? I'm 3 hours away. Last time I called my daddy for some help, he said, boy, what you want me to do? I'm 3 hours away from you. If a man wants the fence down, then tear the damn fence down. Because I had this a garage, what it was. Had been red tagged by the city, and I didn't know why. And it took me almost a year to figure out why. But if I didn't take care of it, the city was going to fine me $500 a day.
Ooh.
I said, I don't even have the money to take care. I don't have the money to buy a 2x4 to prop this building up, let alone $500 a day fine.
Right.
And then people are like, well, call so-and-so, they'll help. And then you call people and you're like, oh, well, you need blah, blah, blah.
Right,
and it's another barrier.
Yeah.
Like, you're just creating problems and talking about fixing stuff. So I called my daddy. I was in the afternoon break at a library, and I called my daddy. And he's yelling at me. What the fuck you want me to do? I'm 3 hours away. If the man wants a damn garage down, tear the garage down. I said, well, okay, I can tear down a garage. Took me a hammer. Started knocking out pieces of wood and stuff, tied it to my vehicle, and ripped that garage down. Now, the math was wrong. It should have shimmied. It didn't shammied. And went into my neighbor's fence and knocked my neighbor's fence down. So I go over to my neighbor. I go, tell me how much that costs. I'll replace it for you. And he was so mad he didn't talk to me. The next day, I see this piece of paper with my instructions. So I go to a hardware store, get my stuff. But what happened the next day? Dan David is my Kaiser Sose. Remember Usual Suspects?
Mm-mm.
Oh, bro.
No.
Great movie. Usual Suspects. Kaiser Sose. The person that doesn't exist. What was the greatest trick the devil ever did was to make the world think he didn't exist. So Dan David, I'm trying to call Dan David's office for a year because he's the one that you're supposed to call when you have a problem with getting red tagged at the time. City something another inspector. So
okay.
Yo, man, I gotta talk to Dan David about this thing. Blah 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 blah. But how can I work out this thing? His office hours were like 10 and 11 certain days a week. AM and then 2 and 3 the other days.
What?
So like 10 and 11 Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 and 3 at Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday. I'm like, what the? This ain't college. Office hours, like you. What? So I would call on the regular. Can Dan David call me back? I'll leave a message. He ain't there. His office hours says it's 10 o'clock. And you know why I knew that? My breaks at my job were 10 o'clock. I had 15 minutes to talk to Dan David.
Right.
Where's Dan David? On this piece of paper, it says he's supposed to be in office. Well, he's not here. Well, can he call me back at 2 tomorrow? I'll leave a message. Oh. I don't know how many messages. So one day, the office was at the Gannon. No, what's the name of the parking garage just south of LCC? There's a parking garage where the Gilbert's bookstore is.
That's Gannon, isn't it?
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah.
That parking garage.
Yeah.
So the office was underneath that parking garage, like on the first floor, but underneath the park.
Okay.
I worked at the library. I said, well, I can drive there, ask for him, and get back, and it'll be 17 minutes. My break is 15. So nobody really would say anything. And I got to hit the lights right.
Oh, gosh.
So I parked my vehicle on the exit, right? So you had to go out a gate, and then it was still the one way. So you had to go around to get
Right.
back around to be able to park.
Right.
You had to come south on Capitol in order to park right in
Yeah.
front to go in during the door. So I mapped out like I was some kind, it was the Italian job, right?
All right.
I mapped it out like it was the Italian job. And allegedly I went very fast. 10:04. I'm running into the office.
Wow.
And I remember it like it was a dream. African-American woman was behind the counter at a desk. So there's a counter, and then behind that's a desk. I came up, and then as I was approaching, I took my calm breath. Because I didn't, I'm intense, but I don't want to take it onto the person.
Right.
So I take my calm breath, and then I fake it. I am so and so and so. So I have my little piece of paper. I've got red tag. I would like to speak to Dan David. So she, city worker, moving very stereotypically, right? I'm like, really?
Speak.
I mean, it's an office job. I get it. You find your pace, right? But I was just like, and it was slow motion. Like for me, everything was slow motion. And I'm just like, he's not in right now. I was like, what? She's like, he's not in. He's supposed to be in. It's 10 o'clock. Would you like to leave a message? I've already left a message. I need to speak to him. I need to speak to him about this thing. I'm on my deadline. I ain't got $500 a day. So I didn't leave a message. All right. So allegedly I drove really fast back to my desk. But it's these kind of things like in life that people don't know. Like I say so many times, ask more questions. You don't know why that person popped off. I've been at, I was at a ball field. I'm not going to blow up their spot. I was at a ball field. Let me figure it out. And this one person was working the snack thing by themselves. And it was slow as the dickens. Slow. Just, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
It's nachos, chips, and pop. Come on.
Right.
But an aged person by themselves, grabbing the stuff, ringing up the stuff, helping the next person. And if somebody ordered a whole bunch of nachos, it's cheese, it's this, that, and the other, they had to change the bag in front of me. There's nobody to help, flip stuff. There's no bar back, right?
Right.
And so I did restaurant my whole life. I was like, dang, this person needs backup. You can't even call somebody on the radio. So I felt bad for a person. So the only thing I wanted was like a bag of chips or a popcorn and a pop, like just grab things, right? Just grab. So I was like, all right, this person's about to get a break. So I get up and the person's breathing heavy. It was shallow breathing too. And I felt bad. I said, this person could probably have a heart attack during this shift. And I mean, I'm not trying to be dramatic. Yeah. I'm dramatic. This was dramatic without having me to add to it. So I get up and I kind of like lean. I don't lean, but I'm like in this comfortable stance. And I go, so how are you doing today? She's like, okay, I'm doing okay. Is there anything good for you? I said, well, yeah, I want a couple of things. So now I'm giving her a break. So as I'm slow talking, she takes a drink of water. Right? Yeah. I said, okay, now you got a little sip of water. You wet your whistle. I said, oh, you seem to be pretty busy, huh? Think of me as your break. She looks at me. I said, I just need a couple of things, but we're going to take our time with it. And she took a big breath in. I said, okay, now you've had a drink of water and you've had a big breath. All right. And now you're not moving as fast as you're able to move in this moment. Right. And I was like, yeah, I just want a Sprite or whatever, and a thing of popcorn. And then she gets it. And I take forever to pay. Because it's card only.
Right.
But like, I'm the type of person, if you're in line and you ain't got the check written out already, what are you doing? You knew you were going to the grocery store.
Right.
You have your list.
Right.
now you've got this bag that what's that what was that kid movie with the nanny, Mary Poppins. You got this Mary Poppins bag and you got to look for your checkbook. Bro. You got to find your wallet, and your wallet's 8 inches thick. Bro. All these receipts and pieces of paper, like you were in line like the rest of us.
Right.
Where's your stuff?
Right.
So in this moment, I'm like, I'm that person. So it took me forever. It's tap, right? So it took like seconds for that card to reach the tap. It was like 18 seconds before I hit tap.
Meanwhile, everybody behind you is like, bro.
But in that moment, I didn't see everything.
Right.
Everything else is blurry. I was like, this person needs a break. This might be the only break all day.
Yeah. It's so easy too when you go to like a restaurant. I was at I've had this, unfortunately, I've had this experience a few times with local restaurants, and it's sad because I always want to support local, especially restaurants.
Thank you.
The service industry specifically. But the last few times I've gone to a restaurant, the staff has been like, they're terrible. I mean, and it's not because of the staff, it's because they have staffing issues. It's because they don't have enough people and they're serving too many people, and it sucks. It sucks for the experience.
Part of it is the customer's fault. And I know this because I experienced it. Stop telling me how to do my job. Stop. I've been doing this since last century.
Well, I think for me, like in the experience, it's the fact that there's not enough people, and you see that the workers are working harder.
Yes.
To serve everybody.
Yes. So that's why it's part of it. Customers got to realize they got to take some of the blame for this. Quit being an asshole to the worker.
Right.
Quit telling the worker how to do their job.
Yeah.
Quit complaining over stupid stuff.
Yeah.
If you got a hair in your food, we've all seen movies. We've all do the thing. Decide what you want to do. Don't have a complete meltdown.
Yeah.
On the server about the hair in the food.
Right. Yeah.
Just be like, I got hair in my food. What do we do? What do you do here?
Right.
Right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh my God. You got what's wrong with you? But like, what the wait person woke up today to share happiness with you.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
That's their job.
That is their job.
Right. So even if I'm a grumpy wait person, I'm grumpy. I know this about me. You don't get, hi, my name is Melik. How are you doing today? Thanks for coming in. What can I get for you? I'm not that person. I'm like, hey, it's Melik. I really want to thank you for being here. And then whatever the process is.
I don't seem grumpy.
Yeah. It's not.
I mean, maybe if
I'm
you're wearing
very direct.
If you're wearing the leather jacket, it might be slightly intimidated. But
I would have loved to wear the leather jacket. I'm very direct, right? But once I have your stuff, I don't want to talk to you again.
Right.
It's not that I don't want to talk to you. I want you to be. If you come with 3-4 people, then you want to talk to those 3 or 4 people.
Right.
You don't need me coming in like blah, 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 blah. And then yesterday my car broke down and blah, blah. You didn't come here for that.
Yeah.
You came here for somebody to fill up your water.
Right.
I'm filling up your water so you don't have to ask me to fill up your water because I don't need you to ask me to fill up your water.
Right.
I see your water's empty. I'm going to fill it.
Yeah.
Right. And so like for me, I'm trying to take care of you without you having to do stuff.
Well, and then you also got to think about too, like when you order something, you should order everything at once, right? Instead of being like, you get your food, they bring you your food, and then, oh, by the way, can I get some ketchup? Now you got to run back to the kitchen.
Yo, I was notorious about quadruple asking, what else do you need? Because I need ranch with everything. I haven't had ketchup and mustard since ranch came out, 1986. Right?
Right.
Once the Hidden Valley Ranch went onto the store shelves, like ketchup and mustard and all that just went away.
You put on everything?
Everything.
You put on a hot dog?
I don't eat hot dogs, but that's another whole story. So I put it on everything. And so I understand that, but it's weird. And now this is a server issue. I'll order ranch. Like, hey, I would like a side of ranch with my this. Oh, okay. And then they'll write down ranch and I'll watch them. Okay, they wrote it down. and the food comes out. Is there anything else I can get for you? Ranch. And I've started the diary of like what the on off is for actually getting the ranch. It's a very low percentage for actually getting the ranch.
Really?
It's so low. It's terrible.
Oh my gosh.
But it's out of pocket.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks ketchup, mustard, relish, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I want ranch on my ribeye. You want ranch on your ribeye?
Oh my gosh.
I know the ribeye is really good by itself, but every now and then I'm going to dip it in that ribeye. I mean, Outback's got their sauce.
That's true.
That's some good ranch too. I hate blowing up such a corporate place, but their ranch is good. Their ranch is so good. That's some good ranch.
What's your favorite restaurant?
Man, I can't answer that.
Locally.
I can't answer that.
I mean, you don't have like a favorite for like certain kinds of foods?
I go to food. I decide what food I want to eat, and then I decide what restaurant it is.
Mm.
So, enchiladas, taco y mas.
Okay.
Where's that? Seafood.
Where's that at?
Southside Cedar Street, in a plaza.
Oh yeah, that's right. Right next to the library.
Yep, right next to the library. Yep. Is that Holmes?
Yep.
Just south of Holmes. My wife discovered that, and they got the brown sauce on their enchiladas. I don't know what that means. I had to put in the search engine. What is brown sauce and enchiladas? Mexican food? Like, I don't know. And I read it and I go, I don't know what that means, but it sure does feel good in my mouth. I just want to put it in my mouth. And the thing about Taco y Mas, my store is 18 minutes from their restaurant, and their enchiladas are always hot.
Wow.
Because I'm a slow eater, so my food has to be hot. So by the time
you're finished,
it gets it's still warm. It's my fault. It's my fault, but I blame you.
It's your responsibility.
It's your responsibility for this to be hot enough. Right. I should not get food lukewarm.
Right.
Now, I do take into consideration, I know it's an 18-minute drive.
Yeah.
I know that. And if you got another delivery on the way, that's 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Get a hot box.
Yeah.
Right. Or don't have it delivered that far.
Right.
I'd work for Domino's back in the day. Now, it wasn't 30 or free day, but it was $30 or $3 off. Mm-hmm. And you didn't want to get the $3 off. You got in trouble. I came from Oscoda, Michigan. Our delivery area was the whole city.
Came from where?
Oscoda, Michigan.
Where's that?
3 hours north of here on Lake Huron, 15 miles north of Tawas.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't deliver to a city.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they had a Z28 as a company car.
Wow.
Imagine 18-year-old driving a company car. I was like, allegedly, I was on the military base, and the security guys were like, Yo, Malik, my supervisor said, we got to stop you. You got to slow down, and we're going to get in trouble. I said, what do you want on your pizza? Such and such and such. Go back to the list. I need 3 pizzas with such and such and such and such for the MPs on the military base. 3 pizzas coming up. Go back. Thank you very much. This is for you.
They leave you alone after that?
I slowed down a little.
Yeah.
No, they always left me alone. If you put that sign, this is last century. Things are different.
Yeah.
But you put that sign in your car, it's just different.
It means something. It means
it's just different.
You're on you have a purpose. You're out on a mission.
Right. So it was a flip being black in America, because that's a different sign. I can't tell you how many times I got pulled over or talked to because I fit a description. I go, that's a lame ass description. Domino's Pizza. Last century, their uniforms were one of the ugliest uniforms that you could ever wear. It was atrocious.
Right.
It was this orange, blue, white thing. It was atrocious, right?
Yeah.
And you had to wear blue khakis, that type of material, but blue. And then this multicolored polyester shirt. And then this stupid hat with the logo on it. And I'm not knocking the logo, but the colors, it was just atrocious.
Right.
It was so last century typical. It was like the poster child of what you would expect a uniform to be, just cheese,
right.
just 100% cheese.
Ugh.
So I'm in East Lansing on Grand River. The Domino's isn't there anymore, and the Starbucks used to be a Burger King.
Okay.
So the Starbucks is a Burger King, and then in this plaza, I think it's a restaurant now, but it's I don't know, Ethiopian food or something. I don't know what it is. And then it's right where Tasty Twist landed.
Okay. Yep.
So it's in that little plaza. So I'm on my break, smoking a cigarette, leaning on a pole or something like that. So I'm still in uniform. I'm in front of Domino's Pizza in a Domino's Pizza uniform, smoking a cigarette when a police officer walks up to me. Now, even being black, I'm thinking in that moment, I don't have anything to worry about.
Right.
I've been here the whole time.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So I'm pulling in. He looks at me and goes, "What are you doing?" And I look him, he's taller than me. I look him dead in his face. And just was like, and in my mind, I didn't want to say anything because, like, I don't understand the question, Ossifer. Because I really don't understand the question. I'm like,
right.
This isn't Halloween. And if it was, this isn't the outfit I'd be wearing.
Right. In front of Domino's.
In front of the thing with a Newport.
Really trying to fit a description here.
I'm confused. So I look at him and I'm like, what? He's like, what are you doing? On break. So he says something, blah, 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 you know, police talk. And I'm like, wow, I thought that was just in the movies. It's real. I have no idea what would just transpired. How do you guys understand each other? And he goes, "This must not be him," or something to that effect. And he says to me, "You fit the description." That's what he says towards the beginning. You fit the description. I'm like, what description? There's no description. This isn't the uniform for robbing something. What are you talking about? And so when that happens enough times, you just kind of find a different space. So all that to say, when I was talking about having the sign on the car, there's probably plenty of times I should have been pulled over. Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it was back then.
Right.
Right? Now they'll probably pull you over with the sign in your car. And you'll be like, I'm gonna be late with my food. Like, you shouldn't drive like that.
And now you're gonna get fired.
Which is, I'm not knocking safety.
Right.
I'm not knocking, don't get me wrong. I realize some of the things I've done last century was stupid. And I'm thankful for being here. Like, we all got out alive. Right. So I'm thankful for that. And hopefully I can teach my kids, understand you're going to want to do some really dumbass shit. However, for the safety of yourself and of course for other people, try to rein it in, or at least put it in a controlled area. Right. I want my kids, I'm trying to think, when can we buy dirt bikes? Not that I want my kids on dirt bikes, but I don't want them to do dirt bike stuff on the road. Right. Their grandparents got land.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's important.
So knock your head into a tree going 20 miles an hour and you're only hurting yourself, and hopefully not that bad. Right. As opposed to getting a motorcycle and now you're on the highway acting stupid. Yeah. See the difference? Yeah. So I'm trying to think, where are my kids? Because my kids are.
How old are your kids?
So we got 4 in the house. 18. I don't know what he's doing. I don't. And then the 14-year-old girl, which means puberty, and I don't know what that means.
That means you got to worry.
Everything makes me nervous.
You should be nervous.
I'd look at her and be like, "We good?
You still love me?
We good? Can you tolerate me? That's all I need." And then we have a 6-year-old, 100 miles and running, and a 3-year-old, 120 miles an hour running.
Oh my gosh, you got your hands full.
Right? And so those little two, they They're out there, but it's purposeful. Life is hard. You little people, you try to have, the Queen of the Corner House, and I want our little people to be able to have that childhood as long as they can, because something's going to flip.
Yeah.
Something's going to flip. And then all of a sudden they're not the innocent little whatever anymore. And it doesn't have to be a major negative catastrophe.
They just change.
Something just flips.
Right.
And I'm just trying to keep having, okay, can we rein it in, still have fun? Rein it in, still have fun.
Right.
Like, I mean, they do stuff, you know, the 3-year-old was a year and a half climbing up a ladder to a slide that was taller than me. And the slide sign, which was at my height, which is low, I'm not that tall, right? Says for 5-year-olds and up, and then had all this warning on it. And I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at that, and I said, man, I hope we don't get hurt. I don't want to explain this to his mama. Sure enough, he climbs up, goes down on his belly, boom, goes off the slide. It's like 1.5 feet. He lands on the ground almost to the edging, which is wood.
Oof.
Like a 1x or 2x, right?
Yeah.
Which is holding in the wood chips, right? And he lays there for seconds. And I'm thinking, oh God. All right, how far away? And I'm trying to get my story right, trying to figure out how far away from which hospital we're going to go to or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm going to get in trouble. Like, because there's no explaining that one away. Right.
You didn't stop him. You couldn't stop him.
You didn't bring him. You didn't read the sign. No. And it's
were
legit.
You not watching him? Were you on your phone? What was going on?
And I'm literally standing right next to him, allowing him to do this. But I'm like, where do you not? I don't want to stifle somebody the way that I was stifled, because then it became a job problem, a house problem, a dating problem, and feeling inferior problem, identity crisis. Like, it became all this stuff. I wanted to be an actor and a performer, and I was stifled so much that the gray in my beard is finally when I was just like, the heck with all y'all, this is what I'm doing. Thanks mostly to the Queen of the Corner House, because she said, you need to stop living other people's dreams. And I went, what? What did you just say to me? You need to stop living other people's dreams and start focusing on your own. I was like, man, thank you for that statement. I need to go sit on that for a minute. And that took a year. For her to look, she's like, look, here's the math. Go do your thing. And I was like, well, at this point in time, I don't even think I can do the thing. I was just talking about it like I was the ex-football star in high school. Like, these are just grandiose stories that happened when I had 3 whiskeys. Like, I wasn't even, I wasn't even serious about that.
What kind of things came from that when she told you that? It took you a year. And what kind of changes did you make after that?
I opened an office. I opened a store. I bought a bunch of video equipment. COVID happened, depressed me. But it's plodded forward. And now when somebody says, hey, do you want to do an interview? I don't ask any questions because I don't care what the questions are. I mean, if you're going to ask me something I don't want to answer, I'm just not going to answer it. But I'm not.
Right.
I'm nervous and I'm anxious, but I know what I know, and I know me, right?
Yeah.
And so I know photography. I'm not a 7th Dan black belt in photography. Like, I'm always,
you're always learning.
I'm not, I'm still a orange belt or whatever, but it's a damn good orange belt, right?
Yeah.
I know video stuff. I know DJ stuff. I know music, but I don't know all the music.
Yeah.
I found who was it?
You're confident in the things that you know about.
Yeah.
You don't have to try to pretend to know what you don't know.
I'm done faking the funk.
Right.
Sometimes I do. But
well, it's a problem because I work with a guy who he's one of those people that literally knows everything about everything.
No.
And it's like, first of all, how do you know so much? But second of all, like it becomes obnoxious. It's like you don't want to talk to this person because they know everything. And it's like, I don't need to know what you know about this subject. I just wanted to tell you what I know, what I think about it.
Right. Like, and it's okay to have almost superficial conversations without somebody correcting you.
Right.
And that's what that feels like when somebody does that. I had somebody do that. Oh, I can't tell this story. Somebody used to do that all the time, and they worked for MDOT, and it was constant. Oh, you see those yellow things that are in the middle of the highway, those little flaps? Do you know how much those cost?
How much do they cost?
But that's what he would be like. I'm like, I find those things annoying, let alone care about how much they cost.
Right.
Like, and he would do that all the time. This costs this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah.
Shouldn't run it over. It's your tax dollars.
Right. And so he bought this brand new car. I don't remember what it was. It's like a Monte Carlo type of car. It wasn't a Dodge Charger because this vehicle wasn't out back then, but it was a muscle-esque kind of car like that. Right. But it had 4 doors, back seat. Right. But a car. So somehow, because this guy, you couldn't touch his stuff. Right. But somehow I ended up in the driver's seat of the car by accident. I don't know how it happened, which made me nervous because I know how this guy was. I can drive. When I say I can drive, I can drive. I made it from allegedly. And this was last century. You can't do it now. The traffic is too much. But I made it from downtown Detroit to just off Pine Street on Genesee in 30 minutes. On my mama's grave with 3 other people in the car.
Oh my gosh.
I did not get out of the left lane.
Allegedly, what did the speedometer look like?
A speedometer allegedly didn't get below 90-ish. Hovering around 100 and 110.
Oh, wow.
And a Datsun 280ZX straight 6 with a 5-speed.
Oh my gosh.
And this is back when you were in the left lane and people saw that dot getting bigger, they got over.
Right.
And obviously at that rate of speed, they didn't know what was behind them. I could guess. Right. So I can drive. I'm very confident about my driving. Now, this day and age, I'm terrified about other people's driving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because even though I can drive, why are you tailgating me so close that I can see the inside of your vehicle on Aurelius Road and we have deer, stuff is falling out of people's cars? Like, you have no idea. And there's 30 cars in front of us. Where exactly are you going?
Right. Yeah.
You're not going anywhere.
Well, it's a problem on Aurelius because people will do that to you and then they blow by you in that center lane.
Yes.
And it's like, dude,
somebody crossed me
45 mile an hour road.
Somebody crossed me past me south of Mount Hope when it was still double yellow going up the hill. I said, why are you passing me to hit to the red light?
That's my favorite.
Like, you passing me at Potter Park Zoo at the red light, and then we're gonna get to the red light.
Right.
Where we going?
Right.
What you doing? What's her name? At 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what's going on here.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So I can drive. I'm confident about that. But it's like, I don't even know what my point was.
What was it? You're talking about how you got from Detroit to.
Yeah, but that wasn't my point. See, I get caught up in my own bull jive.
So we're an hour into this thing.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. This is awesome. This is a fun conversation. So you used to do podcasts, or you used to have a podcast, right?
Yeah, I got that machine right there.
The Rodecaster Pro.
Yeah. And I've got these doohickeys. I didn't put a hole in my table yet.
What's the name of the podcast?
You can find a lot of my stuff on the what is it? SoundCloud
or SoundCloud, something like that.
I suck. So here's the reason why I asked you about if you listen to podcasts. I thought about just biting the bullet and just talking and not having a co-host. It's not because the consistency of it and I know this isn't an ego statement. It's just an experience statement. I've lived enough life that I have something to say. And some of it, I wish I would have heard it if I was younger.
Right.
So It's Metro Melik on SoundCloud.
Okay.
And so there's some conversations on here, and musings with Metro Melik. And the last one I did was, oh my god, over a year ago. But these are evergreen conversations for the most part. Life stuff, man.
Yeah.
So like, I've always wanted a crazy old kooky uncle that was nearby.
Tell you wisdom.
Just be like, oh God, another unk story. But then listening with bated breath.
Right.
My father was the best storyteller I've ever known. Bill Cosby, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, storytellers, the great storytellers, Billy Crystal, the great storytellers.
Mm-hmm.
When I say the great storytellers in that category, blood, sweat, and tears, heartache, pain, all interwoven with laughter.
Right.
Just constant.
Yeah.
Right. And his stories, when I hear the pantomime, or I hear the lead up to when these stories happen. I don't hear it that often because I don't visit him that often anymore, but I would go visit him, and all of a sudden he would go into that thing, and I'm like, oh, so the story's about to happen. Oh my God, I can't wait to hear this story again.
Right.
Heard that story 50 times.
Yeah.
But when he tells it, and his animation and his acting it out and stuff like that, it's just phenomenal. Like, I asked him one time, I said, man, will you like do this? Record it? Man, he's not that, he ain't got that personality.
Right.
So when it happens,
it's authentic.
I'm gonna cry, and it's gonna die with him, right?
Right.
But these are stories about Vietnam. These are stories about Jim Crow. These are stories about being a black man in New York City, waiting on people in a restaurant you can't eat in. Right? And it wasn't until like I was an adult that I realized that I thought times were tough. Now, I probably would have died then. I know my personality and my bad attitude. You ain't tell me what to do. Kick rocks, junkie.
You probably would have kept it in check though, knowing the repercussions of everything.
What happens? We talked about in the beginning. Stress will kill you.
Right.
You lost your hair.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't know what else was going on inside your body, but what you saw, the tale was you saw your hair going out.
Right.
I'm not wishing anything upon you, but the internal stuff you don't even know.
No, right. You're right.
And so my prayer for you when I get into the car is I hope whatever internal situation has healed itself enough that you can move forward without your end of life being affected to that middle part of your life.
Right. Right.
There's stuff within me that I know is going to bother me later. And my wife goes, you need to take care of yourself. I said, I'm still ignoring it because I can't do anything about it.
Right.
I need to drink more water. I need to eat more vegetables. Vegetables. It's arugula. Probably haven't seen the movie My Blue Heaven with Steve Martin. It's great.
No.
It's a great date flick. It is because it's funny.
Yeah.
It's like seriously funny. Steve Martin plays a straight man, but it's the funniest thing ever. Like hilarious. He's not the comic relief, but his character. It's Steve Martin playing a mob guy in witness protection in the middle of Montana.
Oh, that's funny.
And he can't find arugula. He's from New York and is in the middle of, and he's like, arugula. It's a vegetable.
I'll have to watch that.
Dude, it's the best. And so I can confidently say it's a great date movie. I don't think anybody dies. I made the mistake of meeting my wife and said, I want you to watch my favorite movie, one of my favorite movies. And about a third of the way into it, I was like, God, there's a lot of violence in this.
She's starting to question.
And she's looking at me and I was like, I looked at her, I go, I apologize. I didn't look at this with female eyes.
Right.
A dude, total dude eye. Now,
what movie was it?
A Bronx Tale.
Okay. I've never seen
Chris
it.
Paolo, I can't pronounce his last name. It's Italian. Palamatini or something like that.
Okay.
Now, as far as film goes, phenomenal.
Right. Just not appropriate
in
for
my
that
top
situation.
20. You don't meet somebody and be like, come over. I bought this movie for us to watch. Almost everybody dies. There's race issues.
Now she's wondering how fucked up you are.
Right. Someone gets bludgeoned to death. And then my other one was True Romance. Did she watch that one? Man, I sucked. I don't know why she's with me. I'm so grateful and thankful. But True Romance is probably my top movie. It's funny, it's violent, it has redemption, female redemption, but it's violent. Like, so like if things have, it's trigger inducing. I'm not gonna, like, these are terms that I mean, we're all learning.
Right.
But
right.
I didn't, you know, I knew and was aware and had sympathy, but I didn't realize that
the effects of it.
Right? That even watching a show, you gotta let somebody know. Look, this has this, and this. If you're not in that space,
don't watch it.
I can't. Like, I'm not gonna fall. Like, we can go and do something else.
Right.
Go get ice cream.
Right.
You know, watch the leaves go down the river. You know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Well, you like movies, yeah, but we don't need to watch it. I watched Raging Bull with somebody because I saw it as a love story. It's a Raging Bull. When you strip all the other stuff away, it is a tragic love story. I will. That's my definition of the movie. The problem is, it's tragic.
Right.
There's so much tragic in it. I'm connected to it because I saw it in my space. Do I say it like that?
Say however you want.
But does that understood? I saw it in my space.
You could relate to it.
I can definitely go, oh yeah, I've seen that happen. Right? I understand how that person got there. I don't agree with it. I'm not co-signing it.
Right.
But seeing a dramatization and somebody transferring through, it's like The Color Purple. Yep. Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Dick. Until the very end of the movie. Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Did I connect to that whole movie? A whole lot of aspects I did.
Right.
But I'm just like, bro, what's wrong with you? But the redemption, I mean, everybody loves Rocky. How violent is Rocky? Yeah. But you're always rooting for the underdog. Right. So many people are rooting, not always, that's not all or never, but
it's a success story.
Yeah.
It's the American success story.
That's why Lose Yourself as a song permeates me by Eminem. I'm all over the place. Your guests aren't usually like this.
No, but I love it. I love it. Because then people get to see who you are. That's the purpose of it.
Well,
but I do want
to go, don't you?
I mean,
it's been an hour.
It has been over an hour. But I wanted to get back to the point that you were talking about. You wanted to do a podcast or some sort of recording of the people that family members, to kind of capture these moments, these stories that they've told through time, and you don't want to lose it.
I sneak record my dad.
That's a good move.
It's on a recorder somewhere in my house. I've done it several times. My last phone. Oh, actually, there's this app that I got to offload it onto something. I need a cloud. I need to be able to put something on something that has long lasting, and I don't know how that's going to work. Right.
Yeah.
Can I pay somebody $50, $100, $200 and be like, all right, store these files. Right.
I would assume so.
And then, but is it going to last the 30 years? So when our littlest little, it's like, here's grandpa. There's a story. Now, audio's kind of iffy.
I
but
mean, isn't that kind of what like YouTube is?
What is it gonna? So like, I have a music video I did, I think 13 years ago, and it didn't transfer because it's on the.
Oh, okay. It's a different like format.
It's like it's bad. It was good video then,
Right.
but now we have 1080p. We have
Right.
we have 8K.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't transfer. It's all fuzzy.
Right.
The
Okay.
audio's still good, but like it deteriorates.
Right.
Like it's still, even though it's a digital medium, it doesn't
enhance.
it doesn't move forward because of technology.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then they don't care.
No.
It's a 5-minute video. They'd rather just have it go away. Probably it's on their server somewhere, and then I won't pay for the YouTube service to not have commercials. So
Right.
I'm just a jerk. I want to use ya, but I don't want to pay for it. But like, if somebody can rap is
Well, my point was that
rap.
couldn't you upload it to YouTube because you wanted to keep it there and just keep it on private?
Maybe
And
that's
then-
the answer.
And then
But you can even see in the thumbnail, it's
Oh, yeah.
pixelated,
oh yeah.
right?
It's so amazing how much. I mean, you're a camera guy, you're a digital guy. You have to appreciate the how much things have advanced. It's crazy because I remember when that was considered good quality.
Dude, it was a digital thing, but it was still on tape.
Right.
So I learned, and this is why, you want to talk about transition when talking about when I walk with my shoulders back. Here's why. I learned how to edit stuff on VHS tape. Now talk about cumbersome. And
What
I
was
said,
that like?
I can't tell you because I was like, I ain't doing this. I'm just not. There was enough computer stuff around here that I was able to say I ain't doing this. Now I have a lot of respect. If you edited film, I got into quote unquote film when people were trying to make their stuff look like film. And I had long discussions with Roger Glum. He's no longer on Earthside, about why are people, the technology is video looks better than film. Video is better than film. It's brighter. It's, you capture more light, all these positive things.
Mm-hmm.
There was it was like a decade. How do I get my stuff to look like film? I said, so hold on a second. Film is at a medium and a process where they brought it down to the least that you could do and still have it watchable and listenable. The least.
Right. Right.
So 24 frames per second is because if you go to below that, the eye can't stand to watch it. Film is expensive. It was then, it is now. It always will be. So 24 frames per second, matching the audio to that, the human being can accept hearing it and watching it. You get below it, can't watch it. It's choppy. Yeah. Charlie Chaplin,
Right. Right.
All this choppy stuff.
Yeah.
So then we have this technology moving forward, bright CCD, get red, green, blue, all these things, and bright lights. It looks real.
Yeah.
Looks better than life. Looks better than life. And then people would take this great footage in and go, all right, how can I make it look like garbage? What are you talking about? Set the mood if you want to set the mood, but don't try to make it look like the
Right.
lowest common denominator of what something is acceptable.
Right.
Move up. So now all these years later, oh, what do you mean you're not shooting on 8K? Because it's on YouTube, on your phone.
Yeah.
We're not at
the movie theaters.
iMac, with the Dolby, you're
Right.
watching it on your phone,
Right.
with kids yelling in the background. I don't need to shoot anything on 8K.
Right.
And then have to edit 8K.
Yeah.
You edit it here,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
How much of a pain in the ass is just this? I mean, you know what you're doing,
I don't.
but it's
I don't edit that much.
you.
I throw in like an intro, some logos.
It's still two cameras. You got to put them together, and you got to make sure the audio,
Right.
right,
Yeah. It's a process.
right. It's
Yeah.
still a process,
Yeah.
right. And so, for all intents and purposes, you're good. It doesn't need to be everyone. Oh, you didn't shoot on 8K?
Right.
Now we've gone the other way.
Right.
It's not film. Well, it's better than film. It costs a lot less. I can do it in my house.
Yeah.
No, it's not film.
You could do it on your phone. You don't need these
right.
cameras.
Right. I tell my wife all the time, she's got a iPhone 82. I don't know. iPhone 82. She'll take a picture of the kids and I look at it. I go, oh, our kids are cute. And then I go, stop posting those pictures online. You're going to put me out of a job. But you hire me for the other. Right.
Next level.
You hire me for I want to do a video, but the irony, I can't film it myself because it's making fun of trying to take a picture of yourself while you're at the park with your kids. So I have to find a time where somebody can film me trying to film me. So I can advertise. Don't
that's funny.
Be at places and try to film yourself. Take a picture of yourself. Hire somebody.
Right.
And then you have these high quality pictures that you can print.
Yeah.
Or do whatever. And that's the other thing. Once these things get off your binary cellular device, you're not getting a big picture if you want a big picture.
Yeah.
You might be able to get a cool postcard at Snap, Fishy, Chappy, whatever it is, right? But it's still like, why should I pay you $500 to come out and take pictures? Because there'll be damn good pictures.
Because you're not viewing somebody like this.
Yeah, there'll be damn good pictures. I saw a picture that I took a couple of years ago and I sent it back to the people that I took a picture of. I was like, that's a damn good picture.
Yeah, that is a good picture.
And my wife sometimes goes, how'd the photo shoot go? I go, it looks so good. It looks fake. So that's at Moores Park, fall, 4 years ago, family picture. And this is natural light.
Wow.
That's a natural light picture.
Yeah. Wow.
It's not a flash. I'm redundant right now.
Yeah.
When I say natural light, that's what it, I mean, obviously I did a little bit of Photoshop.
Yeah.
I cleaned it up a little bit, but that's the picture. That's what I try to do. I don't want to use lights.
Yeah.
And fine, it has its place.
Well, they're good enough now, right? Where the devices capture the light that's around. And
so like I write for 517 Business and Life magazine, and I don't like to using lights, but the pictures that end up on the cover, which I haven't gotten on the cover yet, it's a flash. It's full. It's bright. It's bright the way they want it to be.
Right.
So I haven't made the cover yet. Right.
Yeah.
And I know my lane. Right. But maybe one day something will happen that I'll make the cover. Right.
What things are you involved in? I mean, you're kind of like considered Mr. Lansing. I've heard that from a few people. That's Mr. Lansing. What things are you doing?
There's a store in Old Town. Thanks to my wife, I have to give her credit for that. Metro Melik 517. I run it. I stock it. There's art in there, art, apparel, and stuff. An artful approach to gift giving, and just some cool stuff. Now, apparently, some people think if you have to live in Lansing to shop there. No, the hell, we've got sweatshirts, and I got a whole bunch of jackets that I'm be coming in that are gonna be stylized for the 517 theme stuff. I have a whole trunk car full of clothes that I just remembered that I was going to change throughout this whole thing, just to show you what that was. And so there's artists come through here. My photography's in there. We have pillows and candles and candy from Oh My Organics, chocolate. We have Bricks soda, which I know is Grand Rapids, but I don't know another soda producer in the 517. It's just great. And we're the official store for Lansing School District.
Oh, cool.
So when I walk into that store, a colossal pain in the ass, I'm so proud of it. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? I did it. If it ended tomorrow, I did it. Right. So then I edit video. I shoot video. I just got hired for a project in the new McLaren. So I'm excited that I get to experience that. It's especially when I can go to a hospital and not be on a gurney.
Yeah.
You know, anytime you go, So anyway, and what else? Video, photography.
You're a writer for 517 magazine.
Writer, photographer for 517 Business and Life magazine. It's the places column under the lifestyle section. I'm very bless them for like their patience with me. I've seen my growth in that editorial photography and then purchasing the proper equipment to make. And this is the thought process. Like people are like, well, why should I pay $500? Go ahead and take the newbie.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, see what happens.
Right.
Go ahead. Right. And then there's even some times where all the years I've been doing this, I find myself in a space and I get the stuff and I look at it on my computer and I go, oh my God, what happened?
Right.
And I am able to eke out some stuff, but I'm like, I do some research. What happened? Maybe buy another lens, ask some questions. Like under these circumstances, that didn't come out as well as I thought it would.
Right. That's
what you're buying.
Yeah.
You go to a mechanic and they spend 5 minutes fixing your thing and charge you $5,000. Like, why you well, I've got the tools in the 30 years of doing this. It only took me 5 minutes. People are like, why don't you do it yourself? I go, it will cost me $10,000 to buy tools.
Right.
I'm not buying the tools to fix one thing in my car.
Yeah.
Go fix my car. You charge me $2,000. Yes, that hurts.
Yeah. It's the same thing for photography.
Right.
Yeah. For anything.
I don't, the amount of money, there's a reason why I hold on to my backpack. That's an investment. I can't afford to lose that. You're not taking that from me.
Yeah.
You're not taking that from me. Right. I don't leave that stuff in my car.
Is that what you have right there?
No, because it's at the office, locked up under an alarm.
I seen you walking with a backpack. I'm like,
that's my purse. But like, people like, I'll go into spaces and I'll have this big old duffel bag. And they're like, what's that? I said, it's my livelihood. I'm not leaving that in the car. Steal the car. Right. And I don't want you to steal the car, but if you steal the car and the stuff in it,
they'll replace the car.
I can get the car back, but I can't get my stuff back.
Right.
Because they're like, well, that's under such and such insurance and this, that, and the other, and then the depreciation rate and blah, 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 blah. And it's going to take us 3 months to cut you a check. Bro, I got a gig next week.
Right.
I can't replace that tomorrow. Yeah. Come on. Like, and I'm not, this isn't a bragging thing. You got to protect your
it's your
investment.
livelihood.
So when that investment shows up, it's not only what's in the bag, it's the person that knows how to use the bag. So if you find somebody that has bells and whistles, but they don't know how to do it, then you got to let people know about that as well.
Right. Yeah. Or if it's a cookie cutter thing where it's the same service over and over and over, and they're not flexible in each situation.
Now there's a benefit to that. If what you're trying to do is just this, that, and the other,
right?
But if you want the left of center stuff or somebody, this is how I show up at a gig and people always start talking. I go, stop. You don't need to do that. I'm here. I'm in your space right now.
Right.
I'm looking at it. And that's what I do. My mouth falls open like I'm not smart. My eyes get all bug out and I just stand there and I'm shallow breathing. But it's when you're subconscious and your conscious begin to meet, amazing things happen. Write that down.
Clip that up.
But that's your whole life is in your subconscious.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I try to tap into that. Now, obviously, I don't know when it, I don't,
That's the creative side, right?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But everything that you've ever heard and done in life is there.
Right.
It's still there. So what I try
to pull from that.
And then it's going to go, all right, I know that. So my conscious is seeing things. And hopefully I'm building a bridge. And then answers start popping up. And then, all right, we're going to do this. And we're going to do that. And I mumble, and people are like, "What do you want me to do?" I was like, they're like, "What?" All right, I need you to do blah blah blah. Nah, go. What? Yeah. Okay. And then it's done. They're like, "Oh wow, that's pretty good."
It's good to have that process, right? To figure it out for yourself.
It's Thanksgiving dinner. If you go through life and you have a task and you think of it as Thanksgiving dinner, now if you're a vegan, I don't know. But if it's
You still eat Thanksgiving dinner if you're a vegan.
yeah, but I don't know the process. I know the Thanksgiving dinner process from turkey, longest thing cook, to spinach,
Tofu.
shortest to cook.
Tofu turkey for vegans.
Yeah, but how long does it take to cook? So here the formula though. If you have a project, whatever it is, you as a human being are only capable of doing one thing at a time.
Yep.
I don't care what article you read about multitasking.
No, it's bullshit.
Thank you.
It's multitasking is bullshit because then you're not focused.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we can do one thing at a time, but we can do multiple things at one thing at a time.
Right.
So Thanksgiving dinner, you get the turkey ready, right?
Yep.
So if that has to cook 8 hours, right?
Yep.
So you put that in the oven. It's cooking. So now now we're multitasking.
Right.
But you've already done it.
Right.
Now what's next? I don't know what's next. Is it stuffing? Middle? I don't know.
I don't know.
So, but you think about what you have to do. So ham is next.
Yeah.
Right. And then potatoes. You peel your potatoes, right? You get them on the ready. You get them soaking in your spicy water. Like whatever it is that you do.
Yeah, there's a process.
There's a process. But you get so the turkey dinner is everything in between spinach and turkey. Rolls. Are you baking bread yourself? It's another process. You set the if you're doing bread yourself, then it's got to rise. So maybe that started yesterday.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if you're going through life and like, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what to do. Well, it's going to take you the longest. So well, then do that. Then have it percolate. It's time for the percolator. It's time for the percolator, right? Then that happens. What's the last thing you got to do? This. And then you don't have to worry about that.
Right.
I put on events. My wife goes, what are you going to do? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I don't know.
Figure it out.
I got to figure out where it is first, but I want to get the acts first.
Right.
And then why are you going to get the acts first? So when I go ask for money, I go, I got these people. My wife tells me all the time, that's the most backwards way I've ever thought about doing it. Oh, I'm doing a comic book. I'm creating an origin story for a superhero. This is a long answer. Okay, I have the store. I do photography, videography. I do writing, 517 business. I'm on the radio, Stacks 92.1, weekday afternoons from 3 to 7 with the hits that power the party. I do MC
with
work.
Yolanda, right?
Huh?
Yolanda? She does that too, right?
Are you thinking about another radio station?
No, pretty sure it's 92. I'll talk to him. It's fine.
Giannis on Sunday mornings.
Is that what it is?
Giannis Jackson with the Chronicle.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Chronicle.
what I'm thinking of.
She's on Sunday mornings at 7 a.m.
Okay.
With her article show. It's an hour. But so yeah, we're on the same station. I don't know what else I do. I have a website. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Thank God. I have this. Producer, video, photo, MC, DJ, and stuff. Yes. All right.
And stuff.
Well, I mean, it's multiplicity and diversity. So I've written screenplays before and they never went anywhere. And people have hired me to go to write screenplays. And then you're like, oh, you're not really the real deal Holyfield. You said you were. So I'm writing one right now because I want something that I can identify with. So it's Batman-esque, meaning that something didn't happen and now you have superpowers. I want people to believe that they're super within themselves. You have a superpower. Do you know what your superpower is?
Perseverance.
Okay.
And the unwillingness to stop.
Okay.
I don't stop. I just continue going no matter what.
So
I don't give up.
Are there moments in your life that you've been able to use your superpower to help someone else?
Absolutely.
So you're superhuman yourself.
Yeah.
You see with that? But you didn't have to get bit by a spider for that to happen.
Right.
You didn't have to come from planet Krypton for that to happen. I want people to believe within themselves that they can be the best them that I want you to be the best you that you can be. I couldn't figure out I don't know English. I'm writing a book. I don't know English. So, I'm just a kid from Moscow, So I want you to be the best you that you can be.
Right.
My 18-year-old son taught me that. right? He has ADHD, which he corrected me on because he has ADHD. I called it ADD. And he goes, nope, I have ADHD. I'm like, aha, that's a trait. Oh my gosh. So you're not really listening to
Forgot
me,
the age.
but because I said something in your mind wrong, you want to correct me, which is part of what I'm talking about here, but whatever. But I learned so much from him about taking what you have and then excelling within that. Yeah. Right? So if it's something that he wants to do, it will happen all day. I have watched him out in the yard creating whatever dirt, science, worm, sunflower experiment ever.
Yeah.
Now you translate that to, can you take out the trash? Whoa, it's 80 seconds.
Right.
He doesn't want, now it's beyond any teenager not wanting to take out the trash.
Right.
Because of his ADHD, it's not that he's just a grumpy, bad teenager just not wanting to take out the trash. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't see the importance of that.
He's focused on what he wants.
With the task of what he wanted to do, whatever it is.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So I know this now. So how do you take his, now I'm thinking to myself, if ADHD is a superpower, right? Because we look at it's an affliction, a condition. No, it's not. Because then that sounds like it's a negative.
Right.
How can you flip it to a positive?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that very point is kind of what's been highlighted on this podcast. I don't know.
Rise above.
Yeah.
Rise up. Yeah.
I've had Richard Prangley on. I don't know if you know who he is.
No.
So he wrote that book right over there called Waiting for a Home. And he's a special needs guy. He grew up in a what do you call it? A group home.
Yeah.
It was like a prison essentially for special needs people in cold water. And he was responsible for having the place shut down. Now this dude is severely special needs, but he used his experience and his knowledge around that facility to have that place shut down. He worked with the government of Michigan. He was working
because it wasn't uplifting people, it was just sheltering them through.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, it was a terrible environment. I mean, abusive. They did shock therapy, like all kinds of things.
Oh, for goodness sake. See?
Yeah.
So that's the exact wrong way of doing something, right?
Right.
I don't know what the exact right way is, and you're always learning, right?
Yeah.
But getting back to what my son taught me with his ADHD and how he is hyper focused on self, like, how can you use that for good, not only for yourself, but find a space where you can excel? So right now, I don't know where he is in life, which is fine. You're 18. Your brain's not even fully developed.
No.
Whatever. So I get it. But like, there's been so many changes. I'm going to go to the military. I'm going to go into the Air Force. I'm going to be such and such. I want to go fly fishing, like all these little things. So my thing was, you want to go military? Let's go to Silver Arbor Patrol. You learn how to fly a plane before you're 18. You'll learn how to fly a plane before you can drive a car.
Whoa.
But he didn't see the benefit in it in that time, so he didn't want to go. And I'm like, dude, that was your ticket. You could have been a fighter pilot.
Right.
You can see.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
He said something smart to me about fly fishing. Very rude, disrespectful. But I was like, all right, bro. So I waited till spring. I saw a class in East Lansing at some fly fishing store. I can't think of the name of it. I took him to a workshop. And I go, and at the end of the workshop, he's hitting it. Seen the movies, right? Right. He's doing the thing. And I'm like, cool. Did the thing. So I said something smart back to him. Waited like 6 months for this. How's that? Oh, great. What'd you learn? This, that, and the other. Big old smile on his face. I go, that's great. So now you learn from an expert, not from YouTube. Don't get smart with me again. I mean, I had to throw my dad lesson in it, right? I mean, I'm a jerk. What I was trying to teach them,
right?
Yes, you can learn things off the tube of you.
Yeah.
Yes,
tube of you.
But if you want to get in depth and find out nuances, you gotta find your Yoda.
Yeah.
You gotta find your Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's people in my life, I will tell them, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I need help with such and such and such and such. Please guide me. Now it's I'm trying to blow up your ego too.
Yeah.
You're the master.
Yep.
You're the Don. Even if you don't think so, I'm looking at you as the master.
Right.
Master in this field. And I've talked to people, blah, 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 blah. I need such and such and such and such. It costs what? This is why you are the master. You have achieved that level and was able to afford this stuff. I'm not there yet.
Right.
I was looking up equipment today. I've been booking DJ gigs. I'm like, oh, I need to buy this, that. I go, it costs what?
That's insane. Equipment is insane.
But that's what's frustrating about, well, why am I paying you $500 just for do 2 or 3 hours?
Right.
It's $20,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah. That you don't have.
So you
have to pay the price.
And the music. And for me to play the music and you're not over there fumbling with your online streaming thing with your Bluetooth speaker.
Right.
With commercials.
Yeah.
And you want the vibe. And you're going to add stuff to my stuff. You say you just want me to play music. And then 45 minutes, can you make this announcement? Can you do this? That? Oh, I was already ready for that because I knew it was going to happen. Here's my microphone. I'm going to turn it on. What do you want? Write it down. I'll read it.
Right.
Right. But I know that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing this.
Yeah.
I do events now. I just did one recently and I had 3 microphones set up because I knew it was going to happen. And it happened.
Yeah.
If it didn't happen, I'd be okay because I didn't have to scramble.
That's the thing. When people pay for a service, they tend to expect more than what you're actually willing to give.
They tend to expect more than what they told you they wanted in the first place.
Right. That's a good point.
So I asked lots of questions. Hey, so you said you wanted this. Is this happening? Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Is this happening? Oh, yeah. Do you need this? Never thought about that. Yes, you did. But you're just checking off a box.
Right.
Oh, this is a task. I just need to hire somebody. I'll work. Once it's hired, I don't have to think about it anymore.
Yep.
And then that person shows up and then they go, well, I need this. You didn't tell me that. I didn't bring that box.
Yep.
Well, what are you going to do? I hired you. Wait, what? What do you mean? What am I going to do? You hired me. You didn't tell me you needed that.
Right.
I shortchanged myself once when I tried to downsize. I'm like, all right, what do I just need? Got somewhere. I don't have that box.
Oh.
Luckily enough, I got there early enough. I said, it's 7 minutes. I'll be back in 15. They're like, what? Don't worry about it. Went, got the big ass box full of cords and wires and gadgets and adapters and all the things.
Yeah.
Brought it back, did the thing. Right? So the next time I went on an event, I'm going to not downsize. I was like, I'm going to, nope, not downsize and putting that box in there and I'm buying some more stuff. I was at another event and they showed me what the output was from the sound system they thought they were using. I get different sound system.
Oh, terrible.
Sure as shit, terrible. Right?
Yeah.
So then I look at the sound system. I go, I wonder if I got that adapter.
Oh,
go to the box and somebody's trying to help me. And they're, standing on the shoulder like, what's happening? What's happening? I'm like, I don't know. So I'm flipping with my Mary Poppins box. I go, I think this will do it. I've never used this before.
Oh my gosh.
Now I bought this for some reason, probably 10 years ago.
Right.
10.
Oh.
And I pull it out and I go, I've never used this before. Plugged it in and thing worked.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what you're paying for.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't always work, but that's what you're paying for. Yeah. Right. You're paying for the experience. You're paying for the know-how. You're paying for the equipment. I mean, my DJ friends, they laugh at me every time I show them my speakers because, like, you need to get powered speakers. I go, this is what I have.
Work with what you got.
And I've had these for a long time. They've more than paid for themselves. I know they work. They're heavy. They're durable. They're not going to break.
Right.
It's not electronic. It's not a powered speaker.
Right.
Your powered speaker goes out and you're like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
My speaker goes out. I go, I got to go to such and such and replace the cone.
Right.
I could probably replace it myself, but I don't have a soldering iron and I'm not buying one.
Yeah.
right? Because it doesn't make sense for me to do it myself when I can drop it off, pay somebody to do it. If it doesn't work, I go back, I go, you fixed the thing, I already paid you.
Right.
As opposed to me half-ass fixing it and then got to pay somebody anyway. And I bought a soldering iron that's just going to sit there in a drawer somewhere.
Right.
There's certain things. Now there's other things where like, I can do that. I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
This,
absolutely.
not it.
Yeah.
I need to produce stuff. I don't need to
worry about the other stuff that's going to take away the attention from the things you're doing.
Now, if I end up with a production house and I've got employees and stuff like that, and one day I'm quote unquote as a business owner bored,
delegate,
right? No, not only will I delegate, but I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy a soldering iron and I'm going to have a section over here in our building. And so if a speaker goes out, I can like, hey, do you know how to do this? Or call somebody. Can you show me how to do this? I have another set so it can go out, but I'm like, all right. So now maybe I pick up another skill.
Right.
I don't have the space to pick up that skill right now.
Makes sense.
I need to get this stuff better that I'm already doing, book a gig so I can pay rent, because the landlord's like, hey, what's up? Where's my money?
Right. Exactly.
Right. And that's the other thing people don't understand. You can't work multitasking. You can't work the business and build the business at the same time. Now you can put things out, right?
Yeah.
And communicate with people. So I had a very thankful thing. I'll thank the camera shop of Lansing. Somebody went into the camera shop of Lansing. It's like, I have a video gig next week. This happened 2 days ago. Oof. Video gig next week. I need it recorded. All these highfalutin people are coming into town, and this, that, and the other is being put on by such and such university out of Florida, paid for by such and such big wigs out of Lansing.
Wow.
Right? I wouldn't have known this, but they went into the camera shop. The camera shop threw my name out. Wow. My store doesn't open till noon. Luckily, on this day, I was on time. So I'm meandering around. And so the store, they're not at the door of the store, because I don't sell toilet paper and bacon, okay? Right. It's not like people are knocking down the door to get into the store, right? Let me just make that clear, right? It's a leisurely operation. Right. So I'm leisurely opening because I'm not expecting someone to show up at 12:02. Right. So it's not the city inspector's office. Right. So I'm good callback. Good. So I'm just fumbling around. All of a sudden the lights aren't even on yet. Somebody comes in the store and I go, huh? Hey, welcome. They're like, yeah. I go, well, let me turn on the lights for you at least. You have to forgive me. I just opened up. She's like, yeah, I know. That's why I waited like 8 minutes. Oh, okay. So she puts down this piece of paper and she tells me this thing. And I look at it and I start talking. I go, hold on a second. Is that next week? She's like, yeah, this came together very quickly. She goes, I went to the camera shop. They gave me your name. Wow. Power of relationship building. Yeah. Power. And like, I shop there purposefully. You support local restaurants purposefully and specifically. What did you say? I don't know the words exactly you said. Service. But you there was a phrase that you use as to why you support local restaurants, right?
I don't remember what that was.
And so it was poetry. And so what I'm saying is there's a reason why I go to the camera shop, because people are always telling me, why don't you just order off a line? I go, I can, but the Amazon ain't going to send me a referral. Yeah. Amazon don't care about me. No. The people at the camera shop, apparently they care enough about me to throw my name out. Because usually when I go in there, this one guy asked me about my Facebook post. He never posts, but he talks about it. Right? He rarely responds to, he goes, oh, you put such and such up. That was funny. He goes, you put such and such. What did that mean? Oh, I get why you were mad. So like, it's a dialogue that I don't even know I'm having. Right. Right. So relationship building, which I used to talk about a lot, but then people took advantage of it. People think relationship building is I come to you and I go, hey, I got a business idea for you. And I get done talking and go, so you want me to record your podcast for you for free? Right. Why would I do that? Yeah. That's $500. Yeah. I'm not blowing up your spot, but that's $500. It's a roadcaster. Each one of these microphones are at least $80. You got 4 of them. The stands, $30.
Nope, $60.
$60, right? the cameras, all this stuff.
Yeah.
That's worth money. Now, it doesn't always have to be a business relationship doesn't always have to be a financial exchange.
Right.
However, there has to be some type of reward that you have to be comfortable with.
Yep.
Right. And then they have to follow through with that reward,
Yep.
which will go back to the podcast where I haven't done a podcast. I had somebody quote unquote hire me in a podcast. I said, well, I'm going to advertise. 4 into it, they got in a car wreck. I haven't heard from them again.
Wow.
This is a business person in the area that's got multiple stores or whatever, this, that, and the other, blase skippy. They said the right things in the moment, but now I've got 4 or 5 podcasts that I've helped produce somebody, and I'm about to trash them, and they don't have them either,
right?
Because their computer broke. And I'm like, look,
yeah.
you got in a car wreck, which I respect, and you had to come back from that.
Yep.
And when I saw you face to face, you mentioned it, but there was no, I'm really sorry, or we can come back when this happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I'm like, no, they ain't free anymore.
Yeah.
Even if I'm advertising, because you got to pay me, because I don't know if you're even going to do what you're supposed to do on the back end. These never went out.
Right. Right.
And not only did they never go out, you're not continuing it. I don't see, and even if they go out and you hire someone else, my 5 aren't out.
Yep.
So not only was that a couple of business meetings to set it up, each meeting to make it happen, my editing afterwards and making sure that you got the stuff.
It's time wasted.
Right?
Yeah.
I could have done my own thing.
They wasted your time.
I could have taken a nap. I could have been playing with my kids. There's so many things you could have filled that with.
Could have been riding the motorcycle.
Riding the motorcycle. I could have paid for the battery. So many different things that could have paid for the battery.
Yep.
I don't see myself paying for that battery because I'm bringing in enough income that I can justify the extracurricular activity.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I find myself in a space when people ask me for something, I go, this is the price. Well, I said, that's not, then it's not for you.
That's the price.
Well, it's too, no, it's not. I asked questions. I asked somebody last night. I asked 2 DJ people what their prices were. And I told the one DJ, I'm charging the exact same price as you. I might charge $50 more because I'm on the radio.
Seems
what
fair.
do you mean? What? Because you're on the radio. Because when people show up at your party and they're like, is that the guy from the radio?
Yeah.
That's the energy.
Yeah.
That's the guy from the radio?
That's the radio guy.
That's the radio guy? Oh, you're a radio guy. Oh, you're the radio guy.
Malik? Is that Malik?
Wait, is that Malik? I spent 30 years of my life building that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have. I did a live call-in talk show. People still remember that, but that was last century.
Right.
But it worked so well that when they built the new studio for Lansing Public Media Center, they asked me to come on for beta.
Wow.
Oh, okay. I'll bring the show back for a little bit. So I did it for 13 and a half years and then for 2.5 years. That's 16 years of TV.
Wow.
Once a week.
You have quite the experiences. But that's what they're paying for.
That's what you're paying for.
Yeah.
So when I go on a microphone, and it was such a compliment. I was at the Bone Thugs and Harmony thing. This young cat, man, he was he was adorable in the most respectful way possible. He was eager. He had his little camera. He had his little microphone. Like everything was small. It was starter stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking it. I'm just telling you where he was in space and time.
Yeah.
He goes, I think he found out I was on the radio. So he had this shy thing happen, but it was culturally different. I'm going to blow up his spot. It was a black guy and he didn't want to fanboy me because you culturally ain't going to do that. Right. He didn't want to fanboy me, but he kind of got quiet. Like everybody's talking. He's like, blah, blah. And he comes and he goes, hey, I was wondering if you could do a quick interview with you. I'm like, yeah, man. So I brought it. I'm like, yeah, man, that's cool. Like I didn't like, dude, you ain't got it. No, dude, I might be on the radio, but I still, I'm just a dude, man. I'm just a dude. This ain't I'm not, It's cool.
Yeah.
So I stood there and just waited, deadpan. And it was on purpose too. And I let him set up and I could tell he was kind of, I could tell like his nonverbal communication was his energy was great. It was wonderful. seemed slightly nervous, but it was great, like in the most positive way. And I go, and he's standing there. He's kind of quiet. He kind of looks. I go, "You ready?" He goes, "Yeah." So everything's on. You rolling? I go, "Yeah." And then I hit it. I went, I don't remember exactly. I'm here at such and such Bazanzos for this, that, and the other. Bone Thugs and Cardi coming to town. That means Lansing is making things happen right here and now. I like to thank so and so and so and so. I'm Metro Melik of such and such and such, and I'm just happy to be here with you. And was out within 60 seconds. The dude looked at me and went, "Whoa." I was like, "Anything else you need?" He's like, "Nah, man, that was it. That was it. That's what's up." Right? I was like, and I gave him dap. I said, "Thank you very much for having me a part of your thing. Thank you for letting me be a part of your thing." Not, "Oh, I'm glad to do that for you, son."
Right.
Like, what the what?
Yeah. Like, I'm doing you a favor.
Like, what?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me do your thing. And then even in that moment, I was just like, all right, I'm done. So I put it out of my head.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I was 100% with him.
Yeah.
Whether he realized it or not. And I wanted him to get the thing.
But that's the exchange, right?
That's the exchange.
In that moment, that's the exchange. Like, for instance, this podcast, like, you are doing me a favor by doing the podcast.
You're doing me a favor, though.
But yeah, I'm doing you a favor as well.
Right?
It's an exchange.
Yeah.
I feel honored that you were so willing to do the podcast.
Yeah, I didn't ask. I said win.
Right.
Didn't I?
Right.
Very short. Like, that's how I respond to stuff. Win. I think people probably think I'm being an asshole, but I'm like, if I decided I want to do it, I don't need to talk to you about it.
No, I like that. I appreciate that, because I talk to so many people. I'm like, this guy's to the point. He wants to do it. Like, sure, do it now. Let's fucking do it now.
When? Where? Speaking of where, I drive in your hood on the daily.
Do you?
I'm in your hood on the daily.
Really?
Daily.
For what?
Our kids go daycare near here. I'm not going to blow up the spot because I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to.
Okay.
People are weird out there, just in case.
Right.
But I'm in your spot. Because I didn't look at the address because I'm a jerk. But I was in Holt. I'm like, oh shit, I'm running late. I hope I'm getting here in time. I was like, 9 minutes away in that neighborhood. I know this road. I was like, I don't even need the map.
That's awesome.
And so I was like, small world, man.
Yeah, it really is. I've had so many people on the podcast and they're like, I grew up in this neighborhood. I'm like,
see?
I'm like, really? I had Adriana Ellis Lopez on. I don't know if you know, she's a Mexican girl. She put on the Mexican event downtown Lansing last month. And she was like, yeah, I grew up right around the corner.
Yeah, I knew that name. Your name is your neighborhood is very culturally diverse of what I saw literally just here today going into the houses.
It is.
That's Lansing, though.
There's Asian people, there's black people, there's Hispanic people, there's me. But there's actually a guy down the street. I love this dude. I love his voice. He sounds like somebody from like the Lion King. And I swear, I don't know where he's from, but he has to be from Africa, somewhere in Africa. He's got that like that deep, like and then that cadence. Yeah.
It's so good. I can't.
But yeah, he's such a nice guy.
What would do that needs to be done?
Get that.
Like what?
Yeah.
When do I have to start? Like, I feel like I'm failing you already. Guy that owns, is it Tante?
Yeah, he was on too.
He's so great.
Tontai.
I love his Tante. I love his energy.
He's a great guy. Actually, I'm releasing that episode next week.
I think he was shy. I interviewed him for something. And I was like, I'm going to do this. And he looks at me like, because he never, I walk into a space and I'm not paying attention.
Yeah.
And I'm 100 miles and running and I want to get things done and I just want to go. And I think it's confusing to people because they're like, well, who's this guy that just comes in with all this stuff? Right. And I don't really explain myself very well. I said, I'm just doing some other thing. Well, it's a downplay because I'm like, I have people in my life that I've told if I ever walk out of here, meaning out there into the world with the big head, smack me in the back of my head. Like literally, smack me in the back of my please take your ring off.
Yeah.
But smack me in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Like stop.
Yeah.
Stop. just don't. We're all important, right?
Yeah.
We're all doing something. I mean, hopefully you are. Sometimes there's a lot of jerks in the world. I've realized this lately. There's a lot of jerks in the world, jackholes in the world, like crazy people doing stupid stuff. But if you're working towards positive, then we all are, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not special,
Right.
right? But so getting back to that person that was recording interviews at the Bone Thugs and Harmony concert, I wanted to show him himself
How important he was in that moment.
and how important he will be. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see me when I was him. On TV, I saw people living in a roach infested tenement in the projects, and George Jefferson as a cleaner guy. And I'm like, I'm not connecting to this stuff.
Right.
And then George Jefferson's show kept using that word. And I'm like, what? Why are you guys using that word all the time? Because they were allowed to say the racial epithet on TV back then.
Wow.
And I'm like, why does this word keep coming up? I don't even know what this word means, but I don't like it.
Right.
You use it. Well, then they use it on Archie Bunker too. I didn't see that as much, right? But I was like, why is this out here? Right?
Yeah.
But I can't connect to the roach thing either. I go, what can I strive? I don't want to strive to roaches.
Yeah.
And opening an empty refrigerator. But I can't connect to this either. It's funny. So anything in between didn't look like me. Oh, I'm gonna cry. So here's the question you didn't ask. My why is for the purpose of showing that it is possible for people that look like me or want to aspire to something they feel that I am doing in the way that they want to do it. I don't lead with my blackness. You can see it. I don't need to, I don't need that. You can see it. And I've been beaten down for it. I've been called everything. When I say beaten down, I don't mean just not getting jobs and getting fired from jobs. That's the easy part. The hard part is when they beat your ass for trying to go into a restaurant because you're black. And I talked about my dad's Jim Crow stories. This happened to me. This isn't ancient history.
Right.
Right? This happened to me. And then people are like, well, where? Where were you? I go, Lansing. Oh, wait, what? And then they implode. I'm like, come on. This is, come on. You strife is everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't act like, you know, I got the shirt on. I love Lansing. Don't get me wrong, but I also know.
Well, I mean, it doesn't mean that Lansing doesn't have its imperfections, right? Like,
you know,
I mean, we're not a perfect city in any stretch of the imagination.
This isn't a perfect world.
Just because you say you love Lansing doesn't mean it's perfect.
Right. So I don't need to always talk about the negative. There's plenty of people out here doing that.
Yeah.
So I can't get other people to come here if the only thing they're hearing is how crappy Lansing is.
Right.
That just doesn't make any sense. Lansing has 2 rivers and no one talks about it.
Grand River and Red Cedar River?
No one talks about it. They don't talk about going fishing. They talk about, oh, we're going to pull another dead body out of there. Well, that's not unique to Lansing. You can still go fishing.
Right.
You can still have fun. You can still enjoy it. You can still take a boat on it. You still got the river boat, the fall color tour, the concerts,
there's a lot of stuff.
We got rivers.
Right.
It's beautiful scenery, kayak, Rivertown Adventures.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Right.
It's a lot of fun.
The most beautiful sunset you'll see is at now it's called Lansing Shuffle. Even with that big ass monstrosity of a building, that is the biggest sunset because it's a beautiful building. And then you get to see all this stuff bouncing off and the colors and the reflections and the water reflections and the building reflections. And then the sun goes down and stuff like that. If anybody ever has a chance to see a sunset in Lansing, and if you don't go to Lansing Shuffle to watch the sunset, you are doing yourself a disservice. It is absolutely amazing there. That could be a movie scene. That's a date night. That's anything you want it to be.
Right.
If you got the VIG, pay to have it shut down and just you and your softie or your lovely just sit there.
Yeah.
Just the two of you. And have me playing romantic music and with my $10,000 worth of equipment. Right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's Lansing. So when I'm here, I want to talk about the positive. I want to encourage you to be the best you that you can be. I want you to see the goodness in this stuff. Prepare for the bad, hope for the best, and then work forward. The shit out here is difficult. It's hard too. You're going to get knocked down. What's that Rocky thing? Nothing's going to hit harder than life. Right? Knife is going to lock you down. The important thing is getting back up. Right? No, life isn't easy. No. Lansing sucks.
It's not a binary line.
No. There's so much good in Lansing. You can't. It doesn't all suck. Lansing sucks. It's nothing to do in Lansing. What do you mean? There's nothing to do in Lansing?
Well, it all goes back to projecting putting in what you get.
Right.
Take from it.
What's in your teacup?
Right.
What's in your cup?
What are you putting out there?
What are you putting out there? So when somebody sees somebody like me, I'm not perfect. I will spout off or just be quiet. Right? I'll have my emotions. I'm human. But what I want to try to portray, I want my little people to have enough. That's why I flood the internet with my name. I want them to be able to Google my name and be like, oh, and so my 6-year-old, he gets excited to introduce me to people. He'll go up to people and he'll bring them over. Another 6-year-old, 5-year-old, 7-year-old. That's my dad. Right? He's got a slight list. That's my dad. And I go, hi, what's your name? It's nice to meet you. And then Raider will go, tell him your name. Tell him your name. I'm just Malik. It's Metro Melik 517. That's his name. My heart, right?
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I'll have parents coming to me like, what was his name? Duncan. Laura, who lives in East Lansing, and her son Duncan, they were listening to Stax 92.1, and my voice came on the radio, and she said to her son something about, oh yeah, I've worked with him. And their son was like, you don't know him. She's like, yeah, I do. I know him. I know him. Yeah. He's like, no, you know. So I had to take a picture with me, and I sent him a message. I said, show this to him. And it was super cool. It's stuff like that. Yeah. Like, it's meaningful. I didn't get that growing up. Right? So that's why I do the things, because I want people to be able to see themselves being able to do the thing. I came from a small ass town. The music that I'm playing now that came out then, I didn't get to hear. I got to hear, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money while you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. I love that song.
It's a great song. I
also like 5 minutes of funk. This ain't no junk, so pull your bottom off the tree stump. Ladies real pretty, the city to city. And now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. I didn't get to hear that growing up.
Yeah.
I barely got to hear Prince.
Wow.
I had to go all the way down to Richmond, Virginia to have my Aunt Geraldine, have my father drive all over Richmond, Virginia to find the double album 1999. I'm confused as shit. I'm like, who Prince? Who Prince? I have no idea. He wasn't on any MTV, nothing that was coming out and showing stuff. He was nowhere. He was nowhere in Oscoda, Michigan. I was the only and first person to bring Prince to Oscoda, Michigan, and I'm showing up to school with a double album.
Wow.
How you show up to school with a double album?
Right.
Kids laugh me out of school.
Right.
And I'm trying not to break a double album. See?
Oh, that's awesome.
And the only reason why I showed this kind of stuff is like I sometimes people, oh, you making up shit.
Why would you make it up?
Yeah, but people.
You can't worry about people, though. That's the thing. People,
I can't help it.
Those are haters. And the thing is you're doing things that are good for the community overall, regardless of what people think.
Yeah, I try.
You're involved in so many different things, so many different positive things. You're making a difference in Lansing.
Oh, I'm late opening the store. How'd you do that?
Dude, this is a time warp.
Bro, it was 11:10 the last time I looked at the clock.
Yeah, time flies.
What's the ending of your show? I gotta go.
We just wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
We just wrap it up.
All right.
Malik, thanks for doing this. This was a lot of fun.
You can find me at metromelik.com. That's Malik with an E. METROMELIK.com.
Sweet. And it'll be in the show notes. So thanks for doing the podcast. And I look forward to doing it again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Okay. I appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.